He thought those clownish antics wouldn't boost his grades and were just a waste of time, but then the midterm scores came out. His perspective flipped on its head as he studied day and night but ended up at the bottom, while Patch lounged around yet topped the charts. So he no longer resented times L. Instead, he humbly sought Patch study tips, who freely shared them, saying profoundly, "Books don't solve everything." He wanted to shift from books to practice for deeper understanding. So he finally accepted Patch's hospital invitation that night. This time, they interacted with a withered elder whose bedside photo showed his vibrant youth. Patch slyly slipped a toy gun into the man's palm, then transformed himself into a fierce beast using balloons, taking the old fellow on an adventure through the African savannah. Colourful balloons pieced together a fairy tale world, bringing unexpected joy to the old folks. As the laughter in the ward gradually subsided, the old man showered Patch with praise for his performance. Hunting in Africa was a lifelong dream of his, and at that moment he felt utterly fulfilled, leaving no regrets behind. Then he noticed the old lady. He inquired about the old lady's wish. She said as a kid she had eaten noodles her mother made by hand, so her wish was to jump into a noodle pool, watch the glimmer in Grandma's eyes. Ellen realized this wasn't just a flashy stunt, but a meaningful act, which also deepened her understanding of clinical symptoms. On the way back, Patch expressed his feelings once more. Compared to prior resistance, Kaelin neither agreed nor refused, smiling as they bid good night. He felt Patch's magic, yet some patients were beyond his help. The man in room 305, diagnosed terminally ill, began to resent life. His personality became violent and reclusive, a no-go for nurses, but Patch tried to close the gap with massages and songs. However, the beautiful singing was seen by the man as a trampling of his dignity, and unsurprisingly, Patch was roughly thrown out. But quitting was never in his vocabulary. The next day, to everyone's astonishment, Patch marched right back into the dreaded room 305. He had found the man's soft spot. "Since you were angry at life, I'd he become like God to judge you." He strode out confidently, having found someone who understood his troubles. After exchanges, their emotional knots untied. Gradually, he was influenced by Patch's optimism, facing his remaining time willingly. From then on, Patch became the hospital's most popular regular, relieving stress for all kinds of patients. However, that day he was caught having fun on the bed without the inspecting head of the hospital caught him and snapped, "What do you think you're doing?" Patch confidently replied, "I'm just making people laugh." Medical Center of U.S. hospitals found laughter raises pneumonia and gallstones risks causing blood contamination. Relaxing bile duct, boosting heart, raising blood pressure led to antibiotic-induced pneumonia. Though he spoke eloquently, the dean wasn't convinced, warning Patch to go to the circus if he wanted to be a clown, as patients who needed doctors, not friends. They only needed medical care and meds, another arrest meant expulsion. The dean also questioned his grades. Someone reported him for cheating, but Patch knew it was his roommate pulling strings. "If you don't like me, just say it." The roommate replied without hesitation, "I don't like you." "Why not?" "Because you've turned my hard work into a joke." His roommate Mickey came from a renowned medical family, won the Thompson Science Achievement Award, yet never neglected theory, studying cases daily. He aimed to save lives at critical times, but Patch, idle yet at the top, sparked his jealousy. The fact that Patch slacked off the ethics elder unbalanced him, sparking jealousy. That night, Patch found Truman to complain about the head, but Truman thought the head had a point. After all, everyone was suffering or heading towards, but Patch retorted, "Everyone's moving toward death. Hospitals should improve health, not just prolong lives." Truman couldn't tell right from wrong at first and advised Patch, "Stay low-key." The dean already disliked this unruly student. To make things difficult for Patch, the head announced that next week's National Medical Conference would be hosted by Patch, and the welcome ceremony must match the guest status. His friends were at a loss for ideas, but Patch had already prepared a brilliant concept. The next day, when the bus arrived at Virginia Medical College, the experts were stunned by the head was furious and gritting his teeth, but some experts shared a knowing smile because the atmosphere truly felt welcoming. Afterwards, the head felt humiliated and decided to settle the score. He aimed to expel this habitual rule-breaker from campus. To remain at the academy, Patch had to plead with the principal. Fortunately, the principal was quite reasonable, recognizing Patch's excellent grades and his role in lightening patient spirits. So he decided not to expel him, but kept in mind the head's pride, ordering that Patch could not enter the hospital unless it was a special case. However, a special case came up quickly. The patient in room 305 urgently needed his help. Patient in room 305 soon went into critical condition. At the last moment of his life, he implored Patch to sing him that sweet melody once. However, this time, Patch's raspy voice couldn't summon the cheerful tune as he was witnessing. Subtitle: The Cycle of Life. Right after he bid farewell to a dying life, he faced absurd hospital procedures. Times L, Cyrillic letter for BB, land across the A, paragraph U, grov, O, grov, Chinese letter O, out, a stroke, acute, X, not sign, micro, Cyrillic letter for BD, letter G34, Cyrillic letter for AB, so A, grov, I, circumflex, det, plus or minus, I, acute, Chinese letter, A, ring, A, out, U, out, symbol 3D, I, acute, E, circumflex, plus or minus, O, circumflex, sigma, micro, A, paragraph U, grov, pound. This scene left Patch lamenting how absurd hospital procedures were, and those around joined in with their grievances about the hospital. After discussing it, they reached a perfect conclusion. It's best to never get sick or hurt in a life. The discussion inspired Patch to establish a free clinic, using humor and joy as a second remedy to foster equal collaboration between doctors and patients. He excitedly told Kaelin about his vision for this ideal hospital.